I'm from Nekota and I love listening to Today FM.
My name is Ken Godler and I'm from Australia, but I'm part Fijian from Watraki, and I love listening to Today FM Rocks.
For the best music and less talk, we tune into Today FM in National Light Village. Today FM rocks.
My name is Inai Ali and I'm from Ba, and I love the big breakfast on Today FM. I just love it and hope you love it too.
My name is Jay from Labasa. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Naushin and I'm from Sambeto, and I love Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. Tonight, Fiji football head office broken into. Prime Minister confirms visits to Australia and New Zealand this month. And 5 men in court for allegedly assaulting former police commissioner. Gate takings from the Inter-District Championship are safe after a break-in at the Fiji Football Association headquarters in Watuanga Suva this morning. Police received a report of 4 unknown men breaking into the premises at around 4 a.m. Meli Tavanga was at the scene and files this report.
The break-in seems to have been well-timed, just hours after the IDC ended and the Fiji Football Association bagged tens of thousands of dollars from ticket sales. However, FBC News has confirmed the 4 thieves didn't get their hands off the IDC gate takings because it was never brought to the Fiji FA office.
There was some cash also in the drawers because Friday when we were busy with the IDC, we had people here collecting transform fee and fees for the hire of futsal court, etc. So we didn't do banking on Friday afternoon. There was some money, and we presume that they were gone.
They tied up the security guard before forcing to open this glass sliding door and then forcing their way into the main office.
We inspected the place. We went round, we had a look, and we saw the attempted damages to the door. We peeped in from the window. We could see the lights were all inside, and we just tried to inform everybody. And we were told by the police not to interfere with any, not to touch or do any interference.
Kumar says there was a small amount of cash at the office, as well as equipments used by the Fiji FA.
We cannot at this stage say what has gone and what has not gone, but we can assume the things have gone missing. He had a big camera box there that's gone missing. I think in my room there was one laptop that's gone missing. I'm assuming at the moment.
The police canine unit as well as the forensic team were at the premises today collecting evidence. This was a well-planned and strategic move by the criminals involved. There's no doubt they were after the gate takings from the IDC which ended last night. Meli Tavanga, FBC Sports.
Prime Minister Vurenge Bainimarama has confirmed he's travelling to Australia and New Zealand later this week on official state visits. However, his New Zealand counterpart John Key is downplaying the state visit, saying Bainimarama is attending an All Blacks rugby match and that they'll probably have a formal meeting as well. Maggie Boyle with the story.
John Key's visit to Fiji in June is set to be reciprocated, with Vurenge Bainimarama on his way over later this month.
I'm going across to Australia for the celebrations that I've been invited to by the Fijian community, and then of course in Australia I've also got a couple of meetings to attend, official meetings, and then I move across to New Zealand, where the New Zealand Prime Minister has invited me to come for a visit.
Agreeing to disagree on a number of issues that came to light during Key's visit, the relationship between the two is testy at best. This was highlighted in a tit-for-tat last month, with Key quoted as saying the Fijian government was being silly after an MP and a number of prominent political figures were held in police custody. Bainimarama retaliated, saying that New Zealand was being disrespectful and condescending and had double standards on human rights. Focusing on the state visits ahead, the PM says his schedule is still being finalised.
They have not clarified they haven't not finished my program yet. But yes, I'm speaking at a couple of symposiums in Sydney and also addressing the Fijian community, of course, and then to New Zealand. We are also will be addressing a couple of symposiums.
Australia and New Zealand are Fiji's closest and oldest allies. It's a relationship that has been tried and tested and remains steadfast. The PM's official visit will aim to build on this and also to strike a clear outline of the country as a regional hub covering trade, political posturing and development cooperation, to name a few. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
People living in public rental board flats are paying less rent after a government directive to drop prices. Rachel Nath reports this is also supported by a grant to assist low-income earners.
Public rental board tenants are paying $50 per week in rent, part of which is also covered by a government grant. The PRB has a formula to calculate the portion which is to be paid by the tenant and the amount that is subsidized.
It has increased the income base to $250 a week. Those who earn $0 to $250, they qualify to be assisted with the government subsidy.
Acting General Manager Pat View says the only property which has higher rental is the Rawai development in Suva, which has 210 flats.
It is not a subsidized estate where the rent is $99 for the one bedroom and $111 for the two bedroom flats. We service the loan to government, and government pays the Exim Bank of China.
Rent to lower it down so that we can afford it too.
The rent is affordable, like we can afford it. It's $99 per week, so it's actually not that much for me.
We're just staying here in Suva. We came from the village. We're just here in Suva because my children attend school here, attending one of the most expensive schools here. That's why I sell, so we can have a source of income. Sometimes business goes well, I can earn $80, sometimes $50 or $20, and the house prices are very expensive and it's hard to keep up with the payments.
The PRB will continue to offer subsidies to low-income families with government grants. However, the long-term plan is to move them into home ownership. A pressing issue for the Public Rental Board is the increased rent arrears. As of last month, the total arrears stood at $131,000, the bulk of which is owed by those renting in these flats. Rachel Nath, FBC News.
The Suva High Court will rule Friday whether to use Skype in the trial of 5 men accused of assaulting former Police Commissioner Ben Huneveld in May 2015. The 5 are charged with 4 counts of aggravated robbery and 1 count of acting with intent to cause grievous bodily harm. Cheke Vakararawa, Mosese Tarau, Sermaya Mundura, Tevita Nganganivalu and Uatem Baleono are alleged to have injured Huneveld as he tried to stop them from robbing a restaurant in Flagstaff, Suva. Defence lawyers asked for Huneveld to be brought back from South Africa to give evidence, but the court said that would be costly. Tax evasion is a serious concern which the Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority is trying to target with a number of initiatives. Chief Executive Viswanath Das says other than a new VAT monitoring system, which is expected to come online by year end, there's also a need for more whistleblowers.
If people are not paying taxes, it simply means, it's not fair. So with our limited resources, we seek partnership of the whistleblowers can be entitled for a reward of up to 10% of the amount of taxes recovered or duty recovered.
Last month, FERCA awarded a whistleblower $22,000 for exposing $220,000 worth of tax evasion. Coming up on FBC News, bad weather causes flight Fiji Airways to divert Nausori-bound flight to Samoa. And Hurricane Matthew causes widespread damage in parts of the United States. Stay with us.
Bula FM number 2 na share. Iyo bula bina tango peli untuk taliten na parang bula FM na bu.
Number 2 tinangan ng Bula FM no sur. Bula FM number 2 na share.
Bula siya Univa Labasa na ko Vila Merikibi Bula FM number 2 na share. Talita itu ngai Labasa.
Bula FM number 2 na share.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. People in rural areas will soon have better access to drinking water. The Ministry of Infrastructure and the Water Authority of Fiji, have worked out a plan for communities that don't have piped water. Ana Ravulo has the report.
The Infrastructure Ministry appeared before the Parliamentary Committee on Social Affairs today, confirming efforts to improve water supply in rural Fiji. Water committees will be set up in communities to liaise on the best means of sourcing clean water.
Based on the establishment of these water committees, that is where the Water Authority and the Ministry's Department of Water and Sewage will go out and discuss more or look at of ways to try and address these water sources that have been seen to be unhealthy or not good for human consumption.
The Water Authority of Fiji has sent out officers to different rural areas to get work started.
Now for government to come in to assist these communities, they need to have a water committee.
The Water Authority and the Ministry of Infrastructure have made it clear that all rural communities must have a water committee because otherwise it becomes almost impossible to supply water to individual homes. Ana Ravulo, FBC News.
Village bylaws were explained to members of the Lao Provincial Council at its annual meeting today. This is the first time any provincial council has been briefed on the proposed bylaws, which come into effect in 2017. Ali Kimbia has more.
The Lao Provincial Council was taken through the various clauses in the village bylaws and explained how it affects the daily lives of the Itoke community in rural Fiji.
I want to urge all elders and chiefs of every villages to please respect the village and its laws that are in place and work together for the betterment of our society.
The village bylaws will come into effect next year. The motive is to protect the interests of villagers and setting rules of behavior within the boundaries. Newly installed Rokotui Lau Paulambalaina Loka says cooperation is vital for development in rural areas.
I will lead the province of Lao to better things, especially to work together and do things with good heart, and more importantly to respect the laws of the village.
The Lao Provincial Council meeting ends on Thursday. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
Fiji Airways had to divert an inbound flight from Auckland, New Zealand yesterday due to bad weather. Executive General Manager Shanaz Voss says the flight was diverted to Apia, Samoa, as heavy rain made landing at the Nandi International Airport difficult. Voss says customers and crew were looked after in Samoa and were flown to Nausori at midday today.
It was a pretty bad day for weather yesterday and for flying in general, coming into Nandi as well as within Fiji, the Fiji group itself. So one of our aircraft had to divert.
Miss World Fiji 2014 management team today donated a ventilator to the CWM Hospital's children's ward. The ventilator was part of Miss World Fiji Charlene Tafunai's Beauty with a Purpose project in 2014. Although it took 2 years, the management team was happy to deliver on its promise.
The inspiration behind the ventilator was actually right here. I'm holding her. This is my daughter. She was admitted for a month, and while we were in hospital, we heard the stories around the ward that nurses were actually bagging, manually expressing air into the lungs of babies. So, and I had asked them, what's the other alternative to that? And they said using a ventilator.
In world news, the effects of Cyclone Matthew is still being felt in North Carolina and the United States. So much rain has fallen, dams have broken, and evacuations have been ordered in several towns. Now to sports, here's Jamie with all the very latest.
Thanks, Jackie, and good evening. In sports after the break, tax deducted from gold medal bonuses. And Wallaby coach pushes for Marika Koroimbete to feature in Barbarians outfit. This and more coming up.
मैं जुगे नंबिलो तालेबू से रेडियो फीजी 2 24 घंटे मेरे साथ साथ रहता है।
हम मंगेरी ताउका के ललेशे हमारे दिल में और दिमाग में खाली रेडियो फीजी 2 है और सभी भाइयों से आग्रह करते हैं कि रेडियो फीजी 2 सुनना चाहिए।
मेरा नाम अभिनेश है, मैं नंदी का रहने वाला हूँ। मैं सभी समय रेडियो फीजी 2 सुनता हूँ क्योंकि उसमें आईना प्रोग्राम रहता है।
हाय, मैं उमेश नसासा नाबुआ से। मैं जब
Income tax was deducted from bonuses paid to Fiji's Sevens players and officials who were part of the Olympic gold medal winning team. Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority Chief Executive Officer Viswanath Das says the deductions were calculated against the bonuses as earnings. He has also revealed that the Fiji Rugby Union did not apply for a tax exemption, which contradicts what the FRU had said earlier. It's unclear how much was deducted from the bonuses the players received.
It simply falls into the normal tax brackets. If they are contracted players, so it's income for them, and as every Fijian in the country pays taxes, so taxes apply. It wasn't a tax exemption application. We were asked of the tax implications, and accordingly it was advised.
Calls to FRU CEO John O'Connor on the matter were unanswered. The Labasa football side was in a class of its own in the final of the Court Centre District Championship, beating Bar 2-1. The team getting a taste of victory in the IDC after a lapse of 5 years. Vasnil Prasad has more.
It turns in the middle, infield.
The Labasa football side marched into its 7th IDC final at the ANZ Stadium in Suva, determined to win. Labasa has had a consistent season and went into the final with a little doubt that the IDC trophy would be travelling to the north.
Our motto was respect. Respect yourself, then others will respect you. And I think so the boys have done that. Today, the main aim was no guts, no glory. That's what I wrote on the board before we came.
It's not a good one.
The Babasinghe Lions were on fire from the opening whistle, taking advantage of the heavy ground conditions as Leki Mangonerau got the first goal in the first half.
And in the 5th minute of play, Leki Mangonerau.
Yeah, I feel proud and I thank the Lord for His guidance and giving us strength throughout the 70 minutes we played.
Labasa led 1-0 at the break and come in the second half. Ratuanere slotted in another goal for the Northerners.
Were caught that side and in.
Firstly, when I scored that goal, I just thank the Almighty God for giving me that opportunity that I can believe.
Labasa captain Aquila Matai Suva, who had an outstanding tournament, dedicated the win to his first child.
Tournament we dedicated to one of our late grandmom who just passed away before the semi-final, and that is Lisoni's grandmother just passed away before the semi-final. And for myself, I came here to win this because my wife just gave birth to my son.
Labasa officials have planned a celebration to thank players and fans alike.
Definitely they'll be given. I mean, they did a marvelous job this week and I think last week in the 2 National League games. They deserve every bit of it.
This is the first piece of silverware for the Labasa team for the current football season. Vasnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, the Fiji Football Association has named a 35-member extended squad to prepare for the FIFA third-round World Cup qualification next year. IDC champions Labasa and Suva have 7 players each in the squad. Aquila Matai Suva, Taniela Wanga, Ravinesh Karan Singh, Simil Rao, Edwin Shayam, Madwan Ganda and Ratu Anare have made the cut. Wellington Phoenix's Roy Krishna and Leroy Jennings are the only overseas players named in the squad. The side marches into camp on the 23rd of October to prepare for its first match on the 25th of March next year against New Zealand. Talks are currently ongoing for Fiji-born Marika Koroimbete to be fast-tracked into the Wallabies setup. Wallabies coach Michael Checker wants Koroimbete to be included in the World Barbarians team for the end-of-the-year tour. It's believed that Checker is currently negotiating a spot for Koroimbete in the Barbarians team for the November 5th clash with South Africa. If all goes to plan, the 24-year-old will line up against his fellow countrymen when the Barbarians take on the Vodafone Flying Fijians during the European tour. All Blacks coach Steve Hansen has given a clear indication he will take a rookie or two in the upcoming tour to USA and Europe. This leaves the door open for a couple of new caps from the current provincial competition. At the same time, the All Blacks have an eye on finishing their home test season on a high as they return from South Africa. That's it from sports this evening. Business is up next with Jackie.
Few Future Forest Fiji Limited has written down the value of its teak plantation in Ra to nil due to damage sustained during Tropical Cyclone Winston. The teak trees were stripped of all leaves and bark, and many were broken halfway or had fallen over. The Future Forest Board says it's too early to determine the extent of permanent damage and the potential to recover. The company made a net loss of $5.3 million in the last financial year, which includes a write-down of plantations of $4.7 million. Conditions started off sunny and bright today but turned gloomy by noon. Heavy rain is forecast for tonight. Labasa and Nadi recorded 31 degrees while Ba followed at 30, leaving Suva the coolest at 28 degrees. For tomorrow, more rain over most of Fiji with possibilities of flooding in flood-prone areas. And looking ahead to Thursday, rain is likely to ease in most parts of the country. At sea, west to northwest winds 20 to 25 knots, rough seas. A strong wind warning remains in force for all Fiji waters, so do stay safe. Recapping the main stories for tonight, Fiji football head office broken into, but IDC gate takings are safe. Prime Minister Vurenge Bainimarama confirms official visits to Australia and New Zealand beginning Thursday, and Public Rental Board drops rates for all tenants. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. This week's poll question we are asking: are we prepared for the upcoming cyclone season? To answer, visit our FBC website. Be sure to send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Jackie Spate. Good night.
Yandra! I love listening to Gold FM at Golden Point Resort. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Hola, my name is General from Rakiriki Village. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic.
I'm Moses from Valeu. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Marida Manako. I'm from Kandavu. I like listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Silipa from Tavor Town. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.